If everything is high priority, there is no priority.
Kicking off a project in a Friday afternoon is such a good idea.
Don't forget to subscribe. Welcome everyone to the first Glovo Tech Podcast. I must admit I'm very excited about this one. First time on the camera, first time on YouTube for actually myself and our guest today. So I would like to welcome Juan and Shahin with us today to address actually the topic of Tiger Team at Glovo. A team set to deliver complex project with a very tight deadline, right? Can you introduce yourself, both of you, before we actually dive into the topic of a Tiger Team at Glovo?
Yeah, sure, Thomas. Thanks a lot for having me here. I'm Juan. I'm an engineering manager here at Glovo. I've been working on the company for the last 4 years. And I've been all over the place, like from the mobile apps, the website, and now in the financial area of the company, together with Shahin.
And you, Shahin?
Thank you very much. I'm Shahin. I'm Director of Engineering Foundation and FinTech in Glovo. I've been in Glovo for almost 4 years. To be honest, I cannot believe it, that it's becoming 4 years. And I'm super happy and excited to be here.
Cool. Thank you very much. So, just for our audience to understand, a Tiger Team at Glovo, so it's a task force built with different people and experts inside our engineering team. They are selected because of the skills, and they will be assigned to a business critical project that have a very tight deadline to be delivered, right? Can you tell us a little bit more, Shahin, on this aspect?
Yeah, I think it is worth that first I will explain a little bit about the structure of the teams in Glovo, right? So we have different verticals, right, in Glovo, and based on those verticals, we form some teams, and those teams, a group of teams, form a tribe, right? Like the famous squad-based and tribe-based methodology, right? Let's say, right? And usually these teams, they follow planning, yearly planning, every semester planning, sometimes quarterly planning, right? But there are some instances that if you want to follow this standard process, you're not going to get there, right? Specifically when we are talking about a critical project, a project that is like super important for the business and you need to deliver it in a short notice, then this standard process won't take you there,
Okay.
right? That's the thing. So that's where the concept of Tiger Team is defined, right? And what does it mean, right? A Tiger Team. So just pause. Should I go ahead with the definition of Tiger Team?
Yeah.
Right?
Cool. Tell us.
So, and this is where the Tiger Team concept is defined, right? Tiger Team means that just imagine that we are dealing with a super critical project, right? And as I mentioned, we cannot go ahead with the standard planning. And this is where that we try to form a team, right? A group of engineers from different areas, from different tribes that we have in Glovo, right? And then what we usually do is that we usually take them out of their routines, day-to-day routines, like doing green flags or, I don't know, some other day-to-day routines that an engineer can have in a company, right? And then just asking them focus on one thing, one area, right? With full focus, with full concentration. And then this is what we need to achieve with a very clear objective.
Okay, understand. And I think that speaking about the project that was involved with the Tiger Team, I think we have just one that we achieved the past 2 months, something like that. Can you introduce us to the topic, Juan, in this case, and explain a little bit what was the project before we actually jump into how we involve the Tiger Team to realize it?
So the project was as simply put as put Glovo inside an application, right? This sounds very, this makes sense from a business point of view, but when you have to translate this to the technical part of this, it's very challenging, or if not, outright impossible. So our project was to integrate Glovo inside of Kaspi, which is a major super app in the Kazakhstan market. This is an application that is used for everything, for paying taxes, for e-commerce, for buying cars, for whatever you need. And we wanted to have Glovo as part of that, right? We wanted to offer the possibility to our users, or Kaspi's users in this case, to order from Glovo from the same application. This is super critical for us and for them because 2 out of 3 people in Kazakhstan, or at least in Almaty, which is the biggest city, they use this application. So yeah, we wanted to be part of that as well.
Okay, so indeed quite a challenging project. Shahin, can you tell us a little bit how you came on your table and how you start to organize everything? Because based on your roles, it start with you.
Yeah, how it was brought on my table. Actually, it was in a way that we need to deliver it as soon as possible, right? And then it was the business criticality was justified, right? It was the first step. And then we started to think about how to go ahead with my peers, right? And this is where that we came up with the Tiger team concept, right? Because as I mentioned, we couldn't go ahead with the standard planning process. How we did it? We, Tiger team is a team, right? Basically, it's a team that we need different roles in the team, right? We need engineering manager, product manager, program manager, and we needed a program manager because it's more like a cross-functional, right, and cross-team initiative, right? So there need to be someone that initiate the program and make sure all the deliverables are in place and the expectation is set with the stakeholders, right? So this was the first step, right? First, think about the setup of the team, how many people we need, and this is where that I went to Juani on a Monday morning, no? On a Friday morning or a Monday morning? In a Friday afternoon, yeah. More interesting even, right? That, hey, Juani.
Right before the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Classic.
So I told Juani that, hey, drop everything. On Monday morning, we're going to have a kickoff session. This is one document, just read it, and then we're going to kick it off, right? And of course, my colleagues, my peers from platform cluster, specifically from platform cluster were involved, right? And this was where that in a very short notice, we just chose some engineers that are really experts in those areas. We just had one kickoff session and then starting the execution like from 1 hour later, right? And the good thing was that the objective was super clear, that what needs to be done. But most of the discussion in the first week specifically was how to do it.
Okay, understood. And Juani, so you were asked to be part of the team from one day to another. Beautiful Friday afternoon, classic one. How did you organize the team? How did you choose which expert or engineer need to be part of the project and how many? How did you?
That's a great question. So in terms of engineers and choosing them, obviously you need to pick what you have available, right? Because it was also in the summertime, so people were on vacation. It was always a challenge. But I think that the baseline of this is that we need to pick engineers that meet 2 criteria. The first one is that these people should have like a certain level of domain knowledge of the project that we were going to be working on. For example, if you're going to be integrating a new payment method, it has to be taken by an engineer that is not the first time that they're doing it, right? And the reason is very simple. There is no time for explaining the basics if you just need to jump into the critical project like next Monday, right? And the second aspect will be like somebody who has been in the company for a little while at least, right? Not just joining yesterday, because this is not the right kind of project for like getting onboarded to the whole company, right? You need to jump into the project quite fast. But this is not to say that you cannot introduce other people that has less seniority in the project as well. It just means that at least you need to have some senior people in the room, and then you can also bring some other people to help as well. So this was mainly the biggest criteria for choosing the engineers on this project.
All right. And then when you choose those group of people, I guess it's based on the requirement, the objective that you have. Based on our preparation, I knew it was not that simple, the guideline we received, because it was not in Spanish or English in this case. Slightly tricky. And how did you manage to move forwards with the specification? I guess also with, in this case, the client Gatsby to integrate with them, because it's both way, no? Yeah, we have our part to integrate, but also them. How the interaction went?
So yes, just as you said, like the very first documents that we received were in Russian. I don't speak Russian, so this was quite a challenge, So we try to, the first reaction, of course, is try to kind of like panic, right? You get this news on a Friday afternoon, and then you have to put one company inside another company. It looks crazy because it is. But then you try to calm down a little bit. The first thing you do is just gather the documents that you have, even if they're in Russian, okay, you have to translate them. And also get in touch with your company in this case, right? Establish some POC, establish some people that's gonna be like making the connection with them to try to clarify the doubts. And then little by little, as we gain a little bit of insight of what the project was about, what was the technical avenue that we wanted to achieve, to get to, no, to this other company. Once that it was established, then we started like talking with the rest of the engineers, getting everyone in the room and telling them, hey, honestly, I don't know much about the project. What I know is just the last 48 hours. But what I can tell you is that this is the direction that we're gonna set. And we're going to split this into different milestones. We're going to split this into different subgroups of engineers tackling different objectives. And when you set it up this way and you just like, divide the big problem, the big challenge into smaller, more achievable milestones during the time and smaller scopes to get to the people to work on, it just gets easier,
We say that the Tiger team work on a very tight deadline.
Yeah.
Right? And how many times or weeks, months, weeks, or days they have to deliver the project?
The initial deadline was 2 months, basically.
2 months?
Yeah. Actually, the initial deadline was 2 months because literally we kicked off the project around August, right? As far as I remember.
Okay.
Right, it was around August, and when we
best time to kick off a project, right?
Yeah, and in July, I think, right? The project was kicked off in July, and the first MVP that we needed to deliver was first of September. Right, so when we are talking about tight deadline and a very short notice, is really short notice.
Indeed, it's very short notice, and also complicated time of the year to find some engineer around, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And I know. Just for audience to understand, what does it mean to integrate Glovo to another super app or another application? Because we have our own app. No, we are using it every day. Was it used to put the restaurant or the grocery? What does it mean?
Okay, so like just putting one mobile application inside another one is, like I said, like very challenging, or it's just impossible, depending on how you set up the application pretty much from the first day that you started coding it, right?
Okay.
So this was a no-go. The business goal was the same, but it was clearly not the way to achieve it, much less in 2 months, right? So we decided to leverage another existing application that we have, which is our Glovo's website. It's a website that already exists, that is accessible for real users nowadays. And people use this for browsing the catalog, placing an order, and for us it's especially important as an acquisition channel. It's the way that people first interact with Glovo and then transition to the native mobile apps as they order further, right? So we decided to use this. The thing is, just like I said, it's an acquisition channel and it's optimized for this. So what the normal user journey looks like when you're entering Glovo's website is you're in Google, you're searching for maybe hamburger, likely maybe a hamburger from a specific restaurant, and you don't even specify which is the city in which you're on or which is the delivery address. So we figured all of this out through SEO, search engine optimization. So we have specific pages for specific dishes, specific restaurants, specific cities. So we match the user exactly where they want to go from Google, essentially.
Okay.
So this is how it's optimized. But then when you want to put an application inside another one, it's a completely different experience, right? You want Glovo to open inside another app, and then the user journey is completely different because you don't know what they're looking for. You don't know if they know what they want to eat or not. So the application has to be much more like our native mobile application, where you have a homepage and you have categories and you can browse the catalog straight away. So this was the main challenge: convert our existing website and modify it in essentially record time, so it has a completely different user journey integrated with it, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So we have to take the entire website and try to pack it into this super app, handling the new users, the new flow of order coming and so on, but without having the Glovo interface bind to it.
Yeah, and to add on top of what Juan mentioned, the one of the other challenges that we had was because we are talking about a whole new payment method, right? And at the same time, we were taking care of another critical project in fintech, right? And making sure that we are not messing things up was a little bit challenging, right?
Okay, so just to spice the stuff,
Exactly.
at the same time there is a finance migration on the payment method happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And this 2 months project, tight deadlines as well.
Yeah,
Lovely.
and we shouldn't have put any of those things at risk. So that was the challenging part, specifically at the payment method part, right? Because it was a whole new payment method.
Okay, and exactly the challenge, I imagine, we're on coordinating the different teams to make sure they are properly doing the integration, and then we don't have to repeat it in 2 months' time because the migration will happen, right? So try to be ahead of what is coming. All right, so it's always good to be to add a bit more spice, on the project like this. And speaking about challenge and spices, Juan, I guess it was not that straightforward to take the website of Glovo, putting into the app. No, a bit of technical challenge on the way.
Yeah, it was very challenging. Also on top of what the migration that we were having on site with like payment methods and fintech, we're also doing another migration in parallel, moving from Vue to React, which is something that we're doing for the website. So essentially, you find yourself in a situation where you have real users using the website, you have real users using payment methods, you have users that are using some pages that are in React, other pages that are in Vue, and in the middle of all of this, you have to integrate with another company, right? So this was super challenging. One of the biggest issues that we had to face, and it improved a lot over time, but at first it was quite critical, was everything related with performance and authentication.
Okay.
So authentication was a challenge because the other company essentially uses a completely different way of identifying a user, right? For them, a user is a phone number, conceptually. And from Glovo, a user is an email. So this already causes a lot of differences in how our backend systems interact. And regarding performance, Kazakhstan is a market that is very far away from Europe. It's a market that is completely different, physically, from where we serve the other markets, right? And this causes a lot of frictions in terms of performance because there is a lot of back and forth between our service in Europe and our clients in Kazakhstan. And this requires a lot of very creative thinking and just to reduce API calls, to change the way that you do things so it feels more like a mobile application, right? This is the expectation from the user.
Okay.
So yeah.
So slightly challenging on this important part, I believe, because also the user acquisition start with this when they use the super app. And how was it on the release? I mean, the team works, 2 months deadline. How was it the day that we say, okay, it's open, at least I release for a small amount of people at the beginning before it's getting for everyone? How was it?
Yeah, the thing is that not only for this project, but for each and every project, integration, feature, or migration, or whatever that we do in Glovo, we usually consider a phased rollout.
Okay.
Right? So it means that we, actually it's a standard, right? That we shouldn't go live globally, right? Before having a high confidence, right? So that's why that specifically for this project, when we were sure that it's good enough to go live, we actually didn't expose it to all the end customers, right? So we started to roll it out for the staff, right? Internally in Glovo and internally in the company that we integrated to, right? To just understand if there's a serious issue, if there's a blind spot that we couldn't catch it before, just to make sure that, hey, if we go live with the end customers, right, we don't have a very visible problem, right? But during this such integration, bugs, incidents, and so on, these kind of things are inevitable, right? It is more important how you react to it, right? And in this case, I think the team, Juan and the other engineers within the team did a great job, right? Once we were being reported by some bugs, right, from Kazakhstan or some incidents, considering that it was a Tiger team, right? And the only focus was just delivering this project with high quality. It was that the mean time to acknowledge and mean time to recovery of these bugs and incidents were super low. So it means that once something was reported, everybody were jumping into a call, right? And trying their best to fix it ASAP, right? And it happened, right? And then once we gained more confidence, we started phase rollout, 5% of users, 10% of users, and then continuing with the phase rollout. I think right now you're live, right? 100% at least in the capital.
Okay, that's a good success and also a massive achievement for the team.
Indeed.
I think when we prepare the conversation now, Juani, I think we mentioned around 50 bugs and 2 main incidents. When we have to put in perspective of 2 months deadline, new project integration, and this have to run with 2 massive migration on our backend. No? How will you say that it was a success or not based on those numbers? Because 50 bugs may appear a lot, but everything can be balanced, no?
Yeah, and it's important to say that we have 50 bugs. I guess like nowadays probably more. Every day we have something new to fix. But all of these bugs essentially were just like for staff members, right? For employees, and the rest of them after this initial batch was sorted out. It was for a very small percentage of the population, right? So yes, I mean for a very small percentage of people, maybe they face some issues. But we got all of this before it got to be like something that a lot of people is experiencing, right? To add up on what Shahin was saying, so yeah, we had to do like war rooms for like a couple of days. We had to sort out incidents on holidays. We had to do all sorts of things, but everybody understood why this was important, right? So we were all in the same boat, and it's okay. Maybe then you can compensate, like, taking some more days, some more time. But if we need to do the release now, everybody understands that and everybody pushes for that. The mission is clear and everybody pushes for the same, right?
Okay, so I guess everyone was, as you said, on the same boat, moving in the same direction. And what was the feeling, Juan, to be part of a Tiger team for 2 months, seeing your product released? What is the feeling that you had?
Oh, well, first of all, I mean, it's hard to say one feeling because this really changes among the pressure, right? Yeah, so going from completely panic Friday afternoon to actually a sense of realization when you actually put this on the hands of people that is there and is using it. I had the opportunity to travel to Kazakhstan, me and some other engineers and members of the project. And when you go there and you ask people, hey, are you gonna use this? It's really like people using this other app, and this is like the way like of life here. And people tell you, yes, if I have this Glovo in this other app, if I can experience the journey in this some other way, I'm gonna use it more. It's gonna solve my problems more. And then it becomes clear, right? Like the objective becomes clear, the value becomes clear, and it just changes everything. It's not the same like being far away from the problem that you're trying to solve and having everything like in a laboratory here in Barcelona, that you actually go there and see the real user, be on the street, like test your own application with the cellular network, see if it opens fast or if it opens very slow, like seeing the couriers on the street. It's not the same. So at the end, a lot of realization.
Yeah. So the feeling of building something, see it live and being used by our users, no, at the end.
Exactly. Yeah.
I understand the hard feeling that it brings, and as well, I guess the outcome of 2 months of slightly stressful project, I believe, coming live. Congratulations then on this one team. But I think it's not the end, right, of a Tiger team, Shahin. There's also the aftermath of being part of it.
Actually, that's a very good point. One side of such projects, right, is kicking off the Tiger team, right? That we talked about it, like choosing engineers, bringing engineers from different domains, working on one single objective, and so on. But something that is, I'm not telling more important, but as important as kicking off such team is an exit plan, right? So it means that because it's not sustainable in long term, right? You cannot have a Tiger team forever, right? For a long term, right? Because they are coming from different domains in a company like Glovo, right? And they have their own roadmap, and there are other priorities that they need to take care of them, right? So more important, and one of the important aspect of this concept of Tiger team is the exit plan, right? That to make sure that hey, we put a date, right? That we put a milestone that, hey, once we rolled out in one city 100%, it means that we can ask the engineers to go back to the original team, and then the rest of the rollouts, bug reports, or any eventual iterations that we are going to have in the future is going to be business as usual, right? Otherwise, as I mentioned, it's not going to be sustainable, right? We cannot keep all the engineers in one single Tiger team forever, right? And this is something that I think it went really well, right? Because the engineers that were part of this team were experts in their domain, right? And they could bring back that integration, everything that they have worked on to the original team, and then from that time maintaining it as a usual normal integration, like as it was planned in a normal process and it rolled out, and then from that point of time, it's going to be maintained as like the normal other projects.
Okay, understand. Indeed, quite important to plan this one, because I believe there is support, monitoring, evolution of feature probably as well in the future after the first part has been deployed. And Shahin, from your point of view, do you think that Tiger Team can be used in every project, or there's an environment that is needed to that?
It's a valid point as well. In my opinion, no, right? Tiger Team is not applicable to all the projects within a company, right? If we are talking about a small group of team in a company, right? So it's something different. But when we talk about a venture, a company with a big scope like Glovo, right? We cannot have Tiger Team for each and every project, right? Because at the end of the day, there are lots of projects on the table, right? And if you want to have Tiger Team for all of these projects, you're going to run out of people, right? So you need to double the size of your team, right, to have Tiger Team. So all in all, the short answer is no, right? We cannot do it, right, for each and every project that we have. Otherwise, Tiger Team is targeted as something is very high business critical, is in terms of priority, in terms of criticality, super high, right? And in case that if you want to have Tiger Team for all the project, it means that everything is going to be high priority, right? And everything's being high priority, it means that you won't have any priority, right? So it's going to generate another problem, another bigger problem that is difficult to solve, right? So no, Tiger Team is not the solution for all the situations, but if you make that decision that I want to launch a Tiger Team consciously back it up with data, right, and you can justify it with the business criticality, is a perfect solution.
All right, so it's targeted action towards a very business critical decision, and I believe everyone was aligned when the decision was made. So because as you said, we pick up engineers and experts from different teams, so I guess there's also an impact for them on their day-to-day life because you remove one resources from the team. So the guys that was supposed to deliver this piece of code will not be there to do that, right? And how the teams live with this kind of decision, how they accept it?
So I think it's just a matter of priorities, right? I mean, it's very important that from a leadership perspective, in this case, Shahin, he aligned with the other directors that we have in the company, and they were able to, let's say, okay, this is the big one. This is the big thing that we want to prioritize as a business. So yes, of course, it disrupts the plans for others. I'm not gonna lie. This is why you need to use this only when it's actually needed, only when you're 100% sure that this is what you want to bet on, that this is the priority for your company, and also that you have clarity, right? You have clarity of what you want to achieve. I was joking before that I didn't know what to do at the beginning, but this is just me because it was a Friday afternoon. From a business point of view, it was very clear. It was, okay, we need to make this integration because it's gonna really help our metrics, our sales on this market, right? So once this is clear and you know that this is the direction, you decide to go full on, get full focus on this, then it's a super powerful tool.
All right. Cool. Super interesting. So if I summarize everything about the Tiger Team, it's a team of experts that we gather from different teams and squads within an engineering department. As well, you need a very clear objective, a very business critical cases, very good communication amongst the different actors to understand the priority. And after that, committed people to deliver the needed project with one single priority to avoid to spread over, and a very tight deadline. On top of it, if you can add a bit of spice doing it during the summer and to migration, you make it a bit more challenging at the end. extremely interesting, guys. Thank you very much for sharing the Tiger Team experience at Glovo. That will be it for conversation. Thank you very much. And for the people watching or listening, tell us what you think about the Tiger Team. Tell us if you have also this kind of actually configuration in your teams, if you're using it or have been part of. We are willing to hear about it in the comment down below. And for the rest, I'll see you on the next episode. And don't forget to subscribe.